Alright everyone, NPC Unknown here and welcome to the channel. And today I'm going to be talking about Square Enix's 25th anniversary livestream presentation of Final Fantasy VII and talk about some of the announcements that came from it. The first one is good news for all PC players out there, especially if you played the original Final Fantasy. The remake and its DLC with Yuffie is coming to PC June 27th this year, and they're coming to Steam. So Final Fantasy VII's remake arrival comes almost 6 months after the game's release on the Epic Games Store, and over 2 years since the game was first released on the PlayStation 4. It looks like the PC version will also include the visual fidelity updates added to the current gen upgrade Final Fantasy Remake received last year. The second piece of news is that Final Fantasy will be a 3-part remake, Square Enix has confirmed. So in the anniversary livestream, Final Fantasy brand coordinator and executive producer Yoshinori Katsu, hopefully I'm saying your name right, if not I'm sorry, has confirmed that Final Fantasy Remake will be made into 3 parts. The first part was Remake, the second part is called Rebirth, which we'll touch on in a bit, and the third currently doesn't have a revealed name. It has taken some time for Square Enix to even confirm the scope of the task of remaking Final Fantasy VII. Back in E3 2019, they wouldn't even hazard a guess of how many episodes it would take to remake Final Fantasy VII, saying, "We don't know ourselves." 3 years later, it looks like they've settled on 3 games to the remake of the original PS1 game, which spanned 4 discs on the original PlayStation console. As I just mentioned before, they've now given a name to the second part and a release date to the second part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, calling it Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and they announced it is releasing in winter 2023, and they dropped a trailer for it. In the short trailer, it showed Cloud and Sephiroth walking through some grass side by side. Cloud says that Sephiroth wants to reclaim his birthright and rule the world with Jenova. Cloud also seems to talk to Tifa about seeing her die and thinking that she's some kind of imposter. The trailer is asking what is fact and what is fiction, which is very much in line with the first part of the remake and how it completely changed the game's canon with the whispers. The trailer also showed Cloud and Zack walking together up to the gates of Midgard. As they walk, Cloud reminisces on Zack, asking him, "You were here with me 5 years ago. Where were you? What happened to you?" Followed by Aerith saying that she's trying hard to find you. The trailer ends with Cloud saying, "Sorry, I feel like I failed you," as he and Zack look up at the gates being built in Midgard. Although getting to see the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was enough to shock and even surprise, given its release window is winter 2023, and with Final Fantasy XVI aiming for some time in the summer, it's going to be one hell of a year for fans of Final Fantasy, especially with the last announcement I'm going to bring in this video, and that is Final Fantasy prequel Crisis Core is getting a remake, and that launches this winter. The game is also confirmed for pretty much all the platforms. So Square Enix announced that Final Fantasy VII prequel Crisis Core is getting a remake treatment as well, and is titled, long title here, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. The game got a significant trailer during the anniversary event, along with gameplay and several story beats. Best of all, the game will launch on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch this winter, although the specific date hasn't been revealed. So if you do not know what Crisis Core is, it's essentially a prequel to the original Final Fantasy game, and takes place a number of years before the events of the original game. It first launched on the PSP back in 2007, and follows a crucial character called Zack Fair, who is tasked with locating fellow soldier Genesis. This new remake looks to be in the same engine as the Final Fantasy VII Remake, although the combat looks a little different from that game. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion was announced during the anniversary showcase, along with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and an announcement that Final Fantasy Remake was coming to Steam. All in all, Square Enix definitely dropped some major announcements, and out of all the events so far this summer, this one is probably my personal favourite. How about you? Are you looking forward to Crisis Core? Will you be playing Final Fantasy VII on PC? Are you looking forward to Rebirth? Let us know in the comments. I've been the NPC Unknown. Thank you very much for taking your time to watch this video. Please drop it a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel as I hope to continue to grow. From me to you, this video is game over.